Hey, Hope here with another video for you today. This time we're going over Abyssos 6th Floor Savage. Jumping right into it, Hemitheos' Dark 4. This is a standard raid-wide. The next can be either Chelix Synergy or regular Synergy. Chelix Synergy is a shared tank cleave that applies a bleed. Regular Synergy is simply 2 tank busters. Which type of synergy you get seems to be random, but they are always in the same parts of the fight. Aetheric Polyominoid. This summons 2 cross or plus shaped ground AoE tiles. These will blow up their own tile and any tile in line with their shape. Pluses blow up tiles cardinal of them, crosses blow up tiles intercardinal of them. Unholy Darkness. This places a stack marker on both healers. Exocleaver, 6 ground AoEs that are evenly spaced. Now the ground AoEs and cones go off at the same time, then momentarily after the healer stack resolves. You will need to move into the cone AoEs as the boss cleaves the space that was previously safe while the healer stack goes off. Use a standard light party distribution for this. Pathogenic Cells. Players receive numbers 1 through 8. The boss will cleave each one after the other with a brief pause in between. Have 1 go north and 2 go south. Everyone else go to the sides. As 1 is cleaved, have 3 replace them. As 2 is cleaved, have 4 replace them. 5 replaces 3, 6 replaces 4, 7 replaces 5, and 8 replaces 6. If you are inactive, you can stand anywhere that is not north or south, but this diagram illustrates the movement. Ethereal Exchange allows the boss to use swapping tethers. Exchange of Agonies. All but 2 players will be tethered in pairs. You will be performing the action required by your tether partner if tethered. Players will be marked with a stack marker, a donut AoE centered on themselves, or a prey marker. If your partner has the donut AoE or stack, you move inside the middle of the boss. If your partner has prey, you move out. The donut and prey AoEs are very large, so respect your distance on this mechanic. Choros Ixo cleaves north-south or east-west, then does the opposite. The first cleave happens at the same time as the tether mechanics going off. Synergy. Tank buster on both tanks with a bleed. You do not need to stack this time. Hemitheos' Dark 4, it's another raid-wide. Transmission. Receive a debuff, Chelomorph, wing on character, or Glossomorph, snake on character. When the timer runs out, the Chelomorph wing characters will cleave behind them, and the Glossomorph snake characters will cleave the direction they are facing. Be sure to not hit anyone as these go off during Choros Ixo, cleaving north-south or east-west, then the opposite. The transmission debuffs will resolve between the first and second hit. Ethereal Exchange, charging the exchange buff again. Polyominoid Sigma spawns 2 sets of 2 ground pluses or crosses that will swap. These resolve shortly after Dark Dome. When the cast bar ends, AoEs are invisibly baited where you are standing. Stand center, then dodge out to the safe square. These will detonate as the pluses and crosses go off. Ethereal Exchange again. Exchange of Agonies. Only 2 sets of swaps this time. Each tethered pair will have 1 prey and 1 stack. Have the tethered players with the prey debuff stack on one side of the boss each, while the tethered players with the stack mark go far out. The swap will cause these to resolve correctly. Remember, the prey AoEs are massive in size. Exocleaver will resolve with the stacks. Make sure to rotate 1 slice after the initial hit, as the boss will cleave the previously safe zones after. Should default to rotating clockwise. Another Synergy or Chelix Synergy, Hemitheos' Dark 4, and another Ethereal Exchange. Polyominoid Sigma again places 2 sets of tethered plus or cross ground AoEs. These will swap, so remember that when finding the safe spot. Unholy Darkness puts stack AoEs on both healers. I think it is possible to only get 1 slot here to be safe. You can fit both on 1 square. Ground AoE and healer stacks go off together. Dark Ashes. Spread marker on all players combined with Choros Ixo. cleaves north-south or east-west, then the opposite. The spread resolves on the first hit. Remember, while spreading, you will need to move after to not get cleaved. Cachexia. All players receive 2 debuffs. The first is Aethero-Necrosis, and everyone gets this. Each player will receive one of these timers: 20 seconds, 16, 12, or 8 seconds. When this expires, you have a large AoE go off centered on you, and receive a debuff barring you from certain damage types. This forces an order to taking a part of the mechanic. Then 2 tanks and healers and 2 DPS receive Glossal Resistance Down, a purple icon. The other 4 players receive Chelic Resistance Down, a green icon. Dual Predation. The boss will start to hit the closest player on his left and on his right every few seconds. The left side applies Chelic Resist Down, and the right applies Glossal Resist Down. To resolve this mechanic, have players go to the side providing the debuff they do not have. Players with purple debuffs should go left, players with green debuffs should go right. The order for taking your hit is determined by the earlier timer you received for Aether Necrosis. The order you go is 20 second, 8, 12, and 16 second debuff timer. If you are not receiving the hit, be as far out as you can. Use this image to help aid you on exact positions to stand. Terra XO. The boss will cleave both halves of the arena. You should only have 1 debuff remaining at this point. You need to be hit by the opposite of what you're currently weak to. If you still have the Glossal purple, you need to be hit by the left side. This will always be the opposite of the side you started on. Another synergy or Chelic synergy, and Hemitheos' Dark 4. Aetheric Polyominoid. 2 ground AoE pluses or crosses appear. Dark Sphere. Large AoE on all players. Spread to safe zones for Polyominoid. You can fit 2 players per square by standing on opposite corners. Dark Dome. Cast while placing the spread AoEs, so be sure to move after they go off. Another Ethereal Exchange. Exchange of Agonies. Same as previous, 3 sets of tethers, 1 side with Donut, 1 with Prey. Have the player tethered to Donut in, and the player tethered to Prey out. No tether players have Donut in and Prey out. Choros Ixo. This will cast while the Exchange of Agonies is resolving. Be ready to move after the initial hit. Ethereal Exchange. Polyominoid Sigma. Places a pair of pluses or crosses that will swap with each other as well as one solo. Choros Ixo. The first hit will go off at the same time as the ground AoEs. Another synergy or Chelic synergy. Hemitheos' Dark 4. Cachexia. Same as before, but you do not have Aethero-Necrosis. You do, however, have to deal with Transmission, Ethereal Exchange, Polyominoid Sigma, leaving 2 sets of ground pluses or crosses, one of which is paired to swap. Terra XO. 2 players receive large personal AoEs, and 2 players receive stacks. As everything resolves all at once, you need to find the safe spots for the spreads to go to, the stacks need to be together with the remaining players, and you need to face your cone out of the arena away from the other players, as well as be on the correct side of the boss to resolve your color debuff. Because there is so much, a lot of things will resolve themselves. If you send spread players to the southernmost safe spots, and stacks to the northernmost, players will automatically sort into correct groups by using their various debuffs, and only need to check a few squares for safety. Let's do an example with a diagram. Things we know before anything pops up is which direction we will face at the end. Let's say we have wings, so we need to look out. And our color, let's say purple, so we need to be on the left. Already we have half the arena solved. Now we can identify our 2 possible safe spots before we receive our stack or spread. Finally, we get to stack as we know where to stay. If we had spread, we would go to the other safe spot. Aetheric Polyominoid. 4 ground AoE pluses or crosses will be spawned, no tethers this time. Dark Dome. Wait at the center for the cast bar to end, then move into the safe spot as you bait the AoE. Aetheric Polyominoid. Just 2 pluses or crosses AoEs this time, no tethers. Choros Ixo. Another synergy or Chelic synergy. Hemitheos' Dark 4 raid wide, and then another slower casted Hemitheos' Dark 4 that is in Rage. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to check out my other guides, subscribe to see my future guides, or if you have something to say, add a comment. Big thank you to Woops and Xenosys Vex for letting me use their vods. Have a nice day.